Welcome to Blade HQ, everybody. Today is June 3rd, 2024, and it is a very exciting week because we are heading out to Blade Show in Atlanta. And we got a little bit of a sneak peek with some of the stuff we're going to see on the table today. But before we jump into that, I have some announcements for you. First of all, June 9th, we are starting our Father's Day sale. So that will have a ton of cool stuff, a bunch of campaigns, a bunch of promotional item giveaways. Stay tuned for that. Also, the Kaiser 11th anniversary sale begins. So you can get knives like this one. This one's the Deviant. And then we also have the sharp and pointy Swags designed swayback. These are just two of the many Kaiser knives that will be on sale. Kaiser makes a lot of really awesome stuff for a lot of really awesome prices too. And those prices are just getting even awesomer during the sale. So make sure you're staying tuned for that. And without further ado, let's talk some new knives, starting with the newly arrived Benchmade Necron. And I'll tell you, this knife scares me more than any other knife at Blade HQ. So first of all, Benchmade has a long history of making balisongs, and that's the reason their logo is this little butterfly right here. And I believe on these ones, they still say Balisong in there, because they used to be called Balisong Incorporated, and then they were Pacific Cutlery Corporation, and now they are Benchmade Knife Company. But these are really cool. We got a very nicely flipping action, and you can tell that these guys have a lot of experience making balisongs just by all the little attentions to detail they have. This one has adjustable weight back here. So if you like a handle that's big and heavy and easy to control, if you like a handle that's light and fast, whatever you prefer, you can make your handle work that way and it'll just fit in just nicely like this. Another thing I like is how they have this texture up here. So when you're flipping a balisong, your thumb and your index finger do a lot of the work for you. And having a little bit of texture up here is nice. But they also gave these two pockets that are a little bit more recessed that make it so you know which one's the safe handle and which one's the bite handle, which is nice. Now, I remember this last January, we had Vance from Benchmade come in, and he was talking about this, and he said this was trying to get back to the martial arts roots of the balisong. So it's not trying to be a competition flipper, although it flips like one. It is trying to be a personal self-defense last-ditch option. And that is why I dare not flip this one, because this knife has cut me more than any other knife in the last 2 years. This knife has the select edge on it. So Benchmade's select edge is where they do a 14-degree per side edge. And I don't know what craziness goes on for how they get these edges so incredibly sharp. You'll find this edge on all of their hunt line as well as a lot of their water line. And it is designed for just pure incredible cutting power, and it is terrifyingly sharp. And if you just touch it the wrong way, you'll cut yourself. Now that will be a very nice boon if you are, first of all, very good at flipping a balisong, and two, in a self-defense situation. However, it also reminds you very quickly of any technique flaws you may have. So I would be careful with this one because it is the sharpest balisong I've ever held, bar none. Very cool knife indeed from Benchmade. The live edges go for $450 and the trainers go for $360. Made in the USA, very nice. And I love to see Benchmade bringing back some love for the balisong lineup. Benchmade, if you're watching, I want to see a 42 reproduction. We'll see if it happens. Next up, we have some new CRKT stuff from a designer that really flies under the radar, but very much impressed me when I first saw his work. His name is Princeton Wong. And you can check out his stuff under his custom name, Prince Customs, that we got a couple years at Blade Show, and they are such incredible pieces. The machining, the design, and everything. And in one of his customs, the Theon, this is the Thial, which has much the same design as the Theon. It had a corkscrew made of zirconium. And I will tell you, a zirconium corkscrew might be the most gangster thing in the entire universe. But here, we have this corkscrew coming out here. Got a nice aluminum or steel. I'm not for certain. I don't have a magnet on me. Kind of feels heavy like steel. And then a 12C27 blade. Very nice indeed. This regular model goes for $134.95, and there's a much more premium one coming down the line that goes for $275. This is a lot of fun. Princeton Wong has the gift. He's got the eye for cool designs and a knack for putting interesting mechanisms in that can just hide a corkscrew in the knife seamlessly. It's not like a Swiss Army knife where if you're holding on to it, it's gonna like bite into your hand. It is hidden deep in the knife. It's not gonna cause your hand any discomfort, but when you see that bottle of Pinot, you're ready to go. Also from Princeton Wong, we have the Nucleus. And this one's a bit more of a conventional knife in terms of not having a corkscrew, but it is definitely out there as well. I love these inlays. It's like a black and red G10, G-Mascus sort of thing on top of a frame. So I would almost call this a frame lock or kind of a liner lock somewhere in there. And then the thing that really gets me is this grind. We have a compound grind giving you a nice robust tip on the reverse tanto, but then a very fine edge back here for cutting. This one goes for $99.95 regular, and there is an ultra premium version coming out for $300 later on. Next up from Kershaw, we have the Step. And this fixed blade has won my heart, I will tell you. It is just the right size, just the right thickness. This handle is made of like a hardened rubber, so it's got a nice slick grip to it, so it's not gonna chew up your hand, but it's not gonna let your hand slide away either. A D2 blade with this nice little pinchy area, so some people really love that pinch grip, and this is one of the best pinch grips I've ever felt on a fixed blade. Fairly well balanced as well, just a little bit handle bias wants to stay in your hand. D2 blade, tall flat grind, and look at this belly. It almost reminds me of a tanto that somebody's rounded off, but it gives you a lot of the ability to cut against a board pretty easily, but then it's not putting your hand farther away from the edge up here, so if you're gonna do any more whittling like this. This is a great camp knife, great fishing knife, great hunting knife. And what I like is this sheath. Check it out. The sheath works in both directions. A nice snap, very little rattle, nice belt clip. Maybe throw it on a boot if you have a really wide cankle or something. Who could know? Anyway, very fun from Kershaw. This is going for $44.95, so a great deal as well. Next up, Kershaw also is added to the launch lineup with the Launch 20. And this one has this, I don't know if it's raw or maybe a clear anodized aluminum handle and this beautiful marble carbon fiber inlay on both the front and back, and then a very nicely satin finished Magna Cut blade. This thing feels really good, and you can just watch it jiggle the fat of my arm as it goes. You know, an auto hits hard when it can do that for you. This is a fun knife. I enjoy it a lot. Hits hard, looks good, cuts nicely, very nicely done. These are going for $144.95. Then lastly, the absolute bruiser on the table, in my opinion, is the Mini Iridium. So Kershaw came out with the Iridium last year, and it was the highest selling knife of 2023. More of you bought Iridiums than anything else, which says a lot because it really isn't that expensive of a knife, but it isn't that cheap either. It was like in that $65 range. So it's not a knife that you just buy on a whim. A lot of you guys thought long and hard and then picked the Iridium over a lot of other things. And I'm glad that we have a Mini now because you can still get that four-finger grip, maybe choke up a little bit. Just a very well-executed design. We kind of have this sky blue aluminum with this yellowish sunrise yellow. I just made that up. Backspacer, and then a D2 blade like the originals. I would imagine that we will see some new colorways of the Mini Iridium coming forth soon. But for now, we have this one. This one goes for $64.95. That is all the new knives we have on the table today. Thank you all for joining us. Remember, that Father's Day sale starts on June 9th, and we also have the Kaiser 11th anniversary sale. So head over to Blade HQ. You'll find all of these knives, as well as all those knives on sale. And with that, we'll see you next time. Except for you live